Okay, got it. Perfect. So we're going to start recording and I'm going to start drawing project number 2. You guys have your blueprint I gave you last in our last class. So on this blueprint again, let me go and change my colors. I'm in green color. My background is black here. And make sure you guys always have your origin on all the time. If not, then you can go to your home page and under view, make sure you say show grid is on. If you say show grid off, you don't see your origin, and click this on. Uh, if you guys remember, uh, under my planes, you guys can create plus D plus C, or we can just go ahead and use our X and Y plane, and we can create our geometry using on X and Y plane. So you have to be, make sure you're in 2D and you're in construction plane top. Okay, so looking at project number 2, we're going to start the same thing. This is my origin right here, and I'm going to start with the rectangle, and we're going to draw a 6 inches by this is overall diameter is 7, so half of that is going to be 3.5. So 3.5 by 6 inches rectangle, and we're going to offset all these geometries. We're going to offset 1 inch, 1 inch. Okay, okay. Somebody has to mute your. Uh, okay, who's somebody's has to mute your mic because the recording is on. Thank you. All right, so let's start with that. I'm going back to our Mastercam screen, and we're going to start with the rectangle. And that rectangle is going to start from our origin. And here comes my dimensions. So I don't see that. I'm going to turn my function F9 on, turn those axes off. And the width is going to be -6. And your height is going to be total 7 inches. Go 7 divided by 2, which is going to be 3.5. Apply and hit OK. Okay, so here comes by my 6 by 3.5 inches rectangle. Now I'm going to start offsetting. If you look, there's a 2 inches diameter on the blueprint. There's a 4 inches diameter. There's a 5 inches diameter. So I'm going to offsetting those lines, offset, and it is. So let's offset that 2 inches diameter, which is going to be half of that 1 inch. So I'm going to offset this 1 inch over here. Hit apply. The next one is 4 inches, so that is going to be 2 inches. 2 here under distance and offset that 2 inches. And then we have 5 inches. So 5 divided by 2 is going to be your 2.5 over here. Type 2.5, and I'm going to offset that 2.5 over there. Hit OK. And we are done. Now I'm going to offset. What I did, guys, I offset this 2 inches, which is 1 inch. Then 4 inches diameter, I offset 2 inches. This is 5 inches, and I offset 2.5. So we already got these 4 lines right there. Now I'm going to offset these distances right here: 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, and half an inch. So going back to Mastercam, we are in offset. I'm going to offset 1 inch. And I need, if you look at your blueprint, we are offsetting 1, 1, 1. So what we can do, we can change our numbers to 3 that I want to, 3 numbers, this guy right here. So we have 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, which is, you see on your blueprint, we have 1 inch, 1 inch, and 1 inch right here. This guy right here, we offset 1 inch, 1 inch. Okay, hit OK. And then there is another half an inch. So I'm going to offset this guy over here, half an inch. So let's go and offset this 0.5, which is going to be this over here. I need only one, not three, just put one. There you go. And hit OK. All right, so we're done offsetting that. Now let's create a geometry. So what we're going to do, we're going to create this radius over here. And the radiuses are, if you look at here, it says radius 1 inch typical. So this is 1 inch radius. This is also 1 inch radius. So I'll go to Mastercam and I'm going to say fillet. And it is radius is 1 inch. So that's going to be this guy and this guy. That's 1 inch radius. And then there's another radius. This is going to be your line over here. That's going to be, I'll go to line command here, make your this line from there to there. And then we're going to have this line over here, and there is a fillet right here. So we're going to go to fillet, 1 inch fillet, and that's going to be between this line and this line right there. So that's your another fillets. All right, and let's clean it up. I think we are good to go. So here we can use, do we need this line? I don't think so. We don't need this line. We can go ahead and delete that. Hit your delete on your keyboard. We can delete that. We don't need this line either. We can delete that. And we can use our divide. And let's clean this. We don't need this. We don't need that. Don't need this. We don't need this either. And let's trim this guy over here. And we don't need these all. And that is our geometry. This is our geometry. Like I mentioned to you guys that if I'm going to hit F9, we only create our geometry in your quadrant number 2, which is going to be your X positive and Z negative in quadrant number 2. We don't need to create the whole geometry like the way you see it right here. We don't have to create this entire geometry. No, just create the top half, because your part is a round part. When it's going to turn, your machine, even if you have drawn this half of that, the machine knows that this is a diameter. So this is going to create your program as a diameter. So we need only just the top part of your geometry. Okay, so there we are. And now we can just go ahead and create a toolpath. For that, we're going to go to toolpath. If you guys don't see level toolpath, all these options command here, what does that mean? That they are not on. So you go to view, and under view, if you don't see toolpath, you just click this, and that toolpath it's going to be over here. Let's say you have your levels is closed, toolpath is you just closed, turned off, solids is closed, your planes are closed, and you don't see anything over here, guys. Or it depends on your individual setup on your computer, on your laptop or your desktop, that whether you see all these commands right here on the left side bar or horizontal over here. If you don't see anything, just go under view and turn on toolpath on, and it's going to be on the left side. And make sure you auto hide it, and it was always right there. You want to see your levels, click on levels. And again, we are doing that in home position under view. So click on your level, and you're going to see your levels are going to be right there. here is your levels. So you just go ahead and hide that. Also, you have toolpath, you have levels. You want to see your planes, so click on planes, and your planes are right here. And make sure you auto hide it. So you have a toolpath, you have levels, you have planes on this side right here. You want to do your solids, we don't have to because we are not dealing with solids. We're going to dealing most of the time with the planes, levels, and your toolpath. So it's right here. So you can pick anytime you want. So I will be working with the toolpath on this one here, and I will go ahead and pin this down. So I don't want to hide it. So it's going to stay there all the time. That's what we want. Okay. So now we are ready to machine this part. And I know that now what we, if you look my, follow my cursor, we are in Mastercam design. We have designed this part. This part could be a mill part too, or this part could be a part on the wire EDM, or this part could be a part you want to cut it on the lathe or on the router. So it's now here we have to decide if this is my lathe part, I'm going to create my lathe tooling on that, or my lathe program for that, or it's for mill, or it's for wire EDM or router. I know this is my lathe part, so that's where I'm going to go and pick up my machine type. I have all the options over here. This, if this is a part for mill machine, pick up a mill, and you're going to see all the tool path is going to be here for the mill. If this part is going to be lathe, you're going to see the tool path for the lathe or wire EDM or router. We are in design right now. So when you are in design, Mastercam doesn't care that whether it's a lathe part or a mill or a wire or router part. But now we know that this is my lathe part. So I'm going to create a program for my lathe machine. So just go ahead and go under machine and select lathe and say default. Default is your generic lathe machine, which is pretty standard machines, slant type with X and Z axis. But if you have a machine at your work, which could be Mazak, which could be Moriseki, which could be Citizen, or any different lathe, and then from your list, and this is going to be all your machines over here. This I'm talking about at your work. So you have to select those machines from your list. We have a generic machine, which is going to be your regular lathe default, and that's what we're going to select. So make sure you go to lathe and say default. Just select that. It's going to be regular Fanuc control your lathe machine, and that comes up right here. So here you go ahead and expand that, and you're going to see your tool settings and your stock setup. So the tool setting, there's not a whole lot we have to do. You can just type in your program number, any number you want. That's it. And assign tool numbers sequentially. That's very important. And then comes your stock setup. You can select a stock setup here, like we did in 173 class on the mill, or you can click stock setup here. It's the same thing. Okay, so in the stock setup, we're going to define two things, stock and your jaws. Jaws are not really important, but stock is very important that you have to define your stocks. So under stock, go to properties, and here you have a couple options to do your stock. You can select from 2 points, or you can select insert your diameter right over here. Looking at your blueprint, what would be your OD diameter? Your OD diameter is 7 and your length is 6 right here. You say preview lathe and it's right there. It will show you over here. Press enter to continue. There we go. And you can say make from 2 points. You can select this option too. So your points is going to say select first point to define cylinder. This is my point number 1. And this is going to be my point number 2. And it will give you the same numbers over here. Let's say here on my diameter, I'll just put 0 over here, or 1 inch, doesn't matter, whatever you want to put. And here my length is going to be, let's say 2 inches. And you say preview. So that's my stock size right here. But if you go and say, I want to define from 2 points, select on that. It says select first point to define cylinder, always the lower right point at the origin. It says second point define cylinder, the upper left right here. And whatever the dimension is going to be, it's going to be right here. So that's another way to do it. Either you just insert the number here under your OD diameter or length just by looking at a blueprint. Or you can say make from 2 points. And then in 2 points, you have to select the first point, which is your origin, second point upper left, the maximum diameter. That will give you your length and your OD diameter. So after you've done that, then you're going to say use the margins. And make sure you say, guys, we are going into minus Z direction. So if it's plus Z, your stock is going to be plus Z is going to go into this direction right here. So that's not good. So keep an eye on that, that you are doing minus Z, not plus Z. The setup on our machine is on plus minus Z, not plus Z. So go ahead and make sure you select that minus Z going in this direction. Now we have to use margins. This is we have defined the exact stock over here. If you guys look at it, we have defined the exact stock. That's a finish. What I have to have, the stock has to have some margins. So that's where OD margin, let's say I have 200,000 extra material, and then I have right margin on the face. I have 200,000 material on the face, let's say, and my left margin on the back, let's say I have 1 inch. Half an inch I'm going to hold on to jaws, and half an inch I have a clearance. So look at preview lathe boundaries, and you can see that we have 200,000 material, we have 200,000 extra material on the face, and we have 1 inch on the back. So if that looks okay, hit enter, we are good. And make sure you said okay. All right, now here is your jaws. You don't have to, but let's go ahead and say properties. I'm going to select my jaws. And this is the width and the thickness of the jaws, guys. I'll just leave it standard, like we don't have to change anything on this one. The thickness is 0.625 here on the jaws. That's your thickness, but this will not affect you here. So I'll go and change my parameters. I want to position my jaws on the stock from a stock grip on the maximum diameter, which is going to be this diameter right here, maximum diameter. That's where my grip length is half an inch, and hit OK. Preview lathe boundary, you can see that, and you see that it's gripping on the maximum diameter, and the length where it's holding is half an inch. If you guys remember, we have 1 inch from here to here, so we are holding on to half an inch, and we have half an inch clearance, so your tool can clear that. Press enter to continue, hit enter, and everything looks good. I'll hit OK here, and I'll hit OK over here. So we are good to go. You go into stock setup, and you say, I want to see my shaded boundary. You can do shaded boundary. You want to fit to screen to boundaries, click that also, and you can see your shaded boundary on your stock. Hit OK. And there we are. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about our toolpath. We're going to face this, and we're going to turn OD rough turning, and then OD finish. And later on, if we have to, we can just try to make a little groove over here. We can talk about that also. So anyway, so let's go to, we select the machine type, which was lathe, and look at this, you can see the turning, the different toolpath for the lathe. This is going to be the first toolpath we will be talking about. Then we'll talk about C-axis later on during the semester. So the first thing, I'm going to go ahead and face it. This is called my face right there. I'm going to take out this extra material right here. All right, this is your OD rough turning. Scroll it down, and this is your rough face 80 degrees. We're going to select that. And under comments right here, guys, you can put that just say facing tool, or you can put any other particular information. You can put it in when you're going to generate your G code, your CNC program. It will show up on the program. Okay, and stock is going to be update. And speeds and feeds, I'm not worried about speeds and feed, guys. We can always change that spindle speed and cutting speed. And I'll go to face parameters. Entry amount, that's going to be 100,000. Above that, that is good. And we're going to go rough step over. Let's say you want to go 100,000, you want to go 50,000, that's fine. And retract to 100,000, stock to leave. You don't want to leave anything. That is good. And here comes my lead in, lead out. That's important. We can see my lead in is going to come part into the like 90 degrees minus. This arrow needle right here on your clock, you can say follow the direction of the tool, guys. That's very important. Going down means your tool is always up here on the upper right corner. So if I click on this, that means your tool is going to start feeding from here. Lead in is going to go straight into the part like this, which is your angle 180 degree. So this is the direction of your tool, how it's going to feed into the part. If I'll select this guy over here, then it's going to feed in straight into the part like this. If I'll go ahead and use 135 degree, from here, your tool is going to lead into the part at an angle like this. If I'll go this here, that's how your tool is going to feed into the part. That is not a good idea. When we feed into the part, we always go between 90 degrees and 135 degrees, 180 degrees. That's how you feed into the part. When you feed out means you lead out from the part, means you're going to exit from here. You always exit either this way, 90 degrees from here straight out, or at an angle of 45 degrees. Don't feed out like this or lead out like this. That's not a good idea. So you can go either straight or 45 degree, lead out. Feed in, lead in. When you feed into the part, you go either 90 degrees minus or at 135 or at 180. So stay between this, your 6 and 9 p.m. or a.m., whatever you want to call, between 6 and 9. When you go out between 12 and 3, you go at 45 degrees or 180 degrees, 0 degrees, or you can go at 90 degrees. That's going to be your feed out, lead out. So I can feed in state like this, or I can feed in state like this, doesn't matter. So that's going to be my lead in actually. Okay, then I can go lead out, I can go straight out, or I can go at 45 degrees. That's my lead out. All right, and your length here is 100,000. That's going to be your length, how fast it's going to come down. It's going to feed into the part. That's going to be your length. And hit OK on that, and hit OK here on that. And there is your tool path. And we can go ahead and say backplot. You guys hear me? Everything is so quiet. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and play. And sometimes I lose my internet connections. This happens very often. Okay, okay. So here, if you look at here, we finish to the face. Now this time, let's say, last time we finished to the face also. This time I'm going to say, I'm going to leave, start to leave. I'm going to leave about 5,000 for finish. I'm going to leave, start to leave. I'm going to leave a 5,000 for finish pass. So here, now you see that we have 5,000 material left over here on the part. You see that, guys, right here? That's my 5,000 material. So why I leave this 5,000? If I'm going to rough and finish using starting from here, this whole entire geometry, then the tool is going to finish that with your finish turning. It will finish the leftover 5,000 over here. If we already finished this, there's no material, then there's no sense to select this geometry right here. So I will show you. So we keep that in mind that we are leaving 5,000 material right here on this. I'm going to go ahead and turn that, play that, back plot it, and just go and say play. So it's cutting, but look at this. It's going to leave 5,000 material over here. I'm going to slow down a little bit. Okay, it's done. So there, look at that. There we have 5,000 material left over here. So this 5,000, which is left over on the face, we're going to finish with our finishing tool. When it's going to rough this and finish the OD, it will finish that also. So we will do that in our finish part. All right. Okay. So the next tool path is going to be our rough. Okay, for rough, we're going to select, if you're going to select chain, guys, and I'm going to start from here, it will select this entire chain, which is not good. And if you guys remember, I told you in our last class that this geometry right here, we don't need this geometry. We don't. You still want to keep it, that's fine. You can change this into different level. Then I'm going to just put it in a different level. Right click and say change to level number 2 or any level so I can hide it. Level 2, hit OK. And if you go to level 2, it's right here, just hide it. Now we can go to tool path, turning, I can go rough. Now I can pick the chain. If I can select the chain, so we are good. But let's say if you is still there under your level, is still on, or you don't want to change the level, and you go to your tool path and you pick rough. So in this case, if you select chain, it's going to select the entire, but I'll just go ahead and select it. So in that case, what you do, just select partial. Say, I want to go partial. Partial means a part of it, not entire chain. So then it's going to say select the entity point chain for the inner boundary. That's going to be my first one. And then it's going to ask you the last entity. With the partial, you can start from here. If you want, you can stop right here also. So your tool is going to cut just this part right here. So I'll go from here. And it says last entity. I'm going to stop right here. There you go. I want to do partial. But don't select chain in this case. This is my chain. Chain is going to be wherever it's all interlinked, is connected to each other. That complete chain is going to select the entire chain. We don't want that. Just say partial. On partial, you have to state the first and the last entity. That's it. So we select the partial and hit end chain, and we're okay. We're going to use 80-degree insert for your rough and 55-degree for your finish. So this is 55-degree for your finish. There should be 80-degree tool for our rough. And I think it's right here. OD rough, 80-degree. Select that. And then you can go to here under comment, you can say my roughing tool. You can say roughing tool 80 degrees. There you go. And like it says, speeds and feed, we can change that. You can plunge feed, spindle speed, you can change that also, max spindle. So this is your cutting speed right here, actually. So go to rough parameters, and we can just say equal steps and depth of cut. We can go 100,000. Start to leave, I can leave 15,000 on my finish. And I can leave about 10,000 on my Z, that's fine. And you can go lead in and plunge parameters. We're going to use this option, not this one. This only options works if you have heavy and any groove, any area to be cut on our profile, then we use this option. But we have steady plane, and we're going to use this guy right here. So that's okay. And just say okay. And here comes, I can extend this also because that's where I'm going to part it off. So we can extend that. Go to parameters. We can go exit amount right here, or we can end that. Okay, somebody has to mute their microphone, please. We can go to 50 over here, exit amount. And we can extend that to 250 right here. So here we have material left over 15,000 on our X, and then we have 10,000. If you look at here on our Z, that's 10,000 material left over on the Z. And we're going to finish that with our finish toolpath. So I'll just go ahead and play that. Go to back plot. There we go. Rafa, you want to see your tool holder? Just check the holder also, and you can see the holder. Okay. Okay, there's okay. Okay, so I think somebody's microphone is on, guys. You have to mute your microphone, please. Okay, there we go. So we roughed it out. And we can just go ahead. We can select all the toolpaths, select all operation, and we can verify it. We can see our facing and our roughing. Go ahead and play it. Guys, somebody's microphone is on. Please go and mute your microphone. There's a lot of disturbance in the background.
You can mute that person. If you right click on their name, you can right click.
Let me see who is that.
RJL45.
Who the RJL45? Who is that? I can. Yeah, please do that. Okay. All right. So that's good. We have face, we have rough, and let's go ahead and finish it. We can just go ahead and hide our toolpath, just display, toggle that, or you can just hold Alt T and you can turn the toolpath on and off just by holding your Alt key down, and T stands for toolpath. That will hide and show your toolpath. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish it, whatever we have over here. So we're going to go to finish toolpath, and it says select the point of contour chain. We can select the chain again, or we can just say select here last. So when you select on last, it will select the last chain we used for the roughing toolpath. So pick that and hit OK and chain and OK. And we're going to use our 55-degree tool holder, which is this guy right here. Or you can also use 35-degree. We use 35-degree if you're machining really some hard metal, guys, to give a nice smooth finish. That's where we use 35-degree inserts. For aluminum, usually 55-degree works really good. But yes, if you're cutting some hard metals, some ferrous, non-ferrous metals, high-speed steel or titanium or Inconel hard metal, you can use 55-degree for semi-finish, and you want really nice smooth finish, you can use 35-degree tool holder also. So we're going to use 55-degree here. And under comment, you can say this is going to be my finish tool. And you can say it's 55 degrees. And you can pick up your BNG inserts, whatever inserts you guys are going to use is here. You can put those inserts, specs, anything you want, you can put under comments. Okay, so go to finish parameters right here. That's my step over. And number of finish passes, I want to do only one. You want to do 2 finish passes, you can do 2 finish passes. You want to leave some stock. If you're cutting really hard metal, guys, you're cutting some steel. Here you can leave some stock. Like I'll leave 5 passes. It's going to do 1 finish pass, but it will still leave a 5,000 stock on your X, and I'll say about 2,500 on your Z. For your another finish pass, then you can do another finish pass also. You have that option to do that.
Hey, Professor, one question. Sorry.
Yeah.
One question. I see that you have the option for facing and roughing, right? Could you also just rough a facing? Is that possible?
Okay. Which option you're talking about for the facing?
Yeah, just could you face it with roughing, since you can also remove material off from the Z?
Oh yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can do that.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure about that one. Thank you.
Yes, you can do that. So here, let's say I want to go 2 passes over here. I can do that. I'll just hit OK. And look at this here. If I'm going to go and run it, and you're going to see that. There you go, 1 pass, and there comes your 2nd pass. We can do that. And on aluminum, we don't do that. But yes, if you have some steel, some hard metal you're working on, you can go for 2 passes. So here we can go just 1 pass here. And I don't want to leave any material on my X and my Z. And lead in, lead out. Look at this. Like I said, lead in, you can go. If I'm going to go lead in over like this and lead out, if I'm going to go lead out like this, look at this, what's going to happen? It's going to crash, because what we're trying to lead out, and it's crushing into the part. And same thing with lead in. So make sure, like I mentioned, under lead in, lead out, that when you lead in, stay between 6 and 9, which is going to be your 90 degrees, minus 90 degrees, or 180 degrees, or minus 135 in between. Lead in when you are, so like I mentioned earlier, that your tool is upper right corner. So you're going to go cut into the part, you're going to cut either goes 180 degrees like this, or you go come 90 degrees like this, then it's going to rough out, or you can go at 135 degrees like this. But don't go up. That doesn't make sense. Same thing with your lead out. Now with your lead out means you're exiting your part. You're going to exit your part. You're going to get out from the part. That's your lead out. So when your lead out, when your lead out means this is your tool, so you're cutting, you don't want to go lead out like this going in, which is this is the option I'm selecting right now, that hey, I want lead out, and we are under lead out. I want to lead out, but I want to go minus 135, means your tool is going to cut up to here and it's going to go minus 135, then it's going to go up. That's what it's going to crash. So when you lead out, you always go either 90 degrees or 45 degrees or 0 degrees. So that's your lead out in this area. That's your lead out, and this is going to be your lead in. So I want to lead out, I can go lead out straight out so it can clear straight out. Or you can also go 45 degrees. That works too. Okie dokie. So there is that, and hit OK, and now we are good. Look at this. We are leading out at 35 degrees, 45 degrees. If you go 90 degrees, it's going to go straight up. And when you're going to go minus 135 or minus 90, that's going to plunge into the part. That's where it's going to crash. So here, let's go ahead and play your finish pass. Now you look at your finish tool. It's cutting right here, guys. Look at that. It was so fast. Rewind and play that again. Come on. So here, if you remember, we left a 5,000 material on the face. There you go, look at that. And that tool is going to finish it. That tool will finish that 5,000 leftover. And if you remember, in our lathe phase parameter, we left start to leave 5,000. If you don't have that 5,000 material left on the face, guys, and you're using this operation here, and that operation is your tool is gonna still touch your face, but there's no material. It's going to mess up your finish. It's going to make, you're going to see the scratches on your face because there's no material, but your tool is touching. In that case, what you do, let's say here, I'm going to go to parameters and I'm not going to leave any material here. Zero material. There's no stock. Look at that. There's no stock left over. And now we remove that. Look at this, everything is bad, bad, bad. So I'm going to just go ahead and say select all operation and regenerate all dirty operations. So there is no material left over. And if you look at the finish tool, now the finish tool is going to still come and face it, but there's no material. So what's going to happen? It's going to leave a scratch. It's going to leave a mark on this. So in that case, if you have no material, do not select that geometry. Do not select it. Start from here. So in that case, if you remember going to the lathe face, we didn't leave any material in the stock. It's 100% clean. So we do not want our finishing tool to cut the face. In that case, our lathe finish or even lathe rough, my geometry, that's my chain I selected starting from here up to here. I'll right click here. I'll say rechain. And that's going to be my partial rechain. Now this time I want to start from here to here. I'm going to avoid the face this time. Hit OK. Hit OK. And I'm going to do the same thing with my lathe finish. Go to geometry. Right click. Rechain all. Start from here to there and hit OK. Regenerate all dirty operations. Now, if you look at your finishing tool, it's gonna come and start finishing from there. It's going to avoid the face. That's the way it should go. So it depends. It depends what you want to do. You want to leave some material, then select the geometry. Your facing tool is going to come, your finish tool is going to come and clean the leftover here. If you already finished with the facing tool, you do not want to select that geometry. You just select the outside diameter. All right. So if I'll go ahead and select all, and do my verify, so we can run all the operations, go to isometric, and I can go under stop conditions. I can say machine should stop at operation change or tool change. You can use those two options. And you can just go and say play. So it's going to finish it. Facing. OD rough. And OD finish. There we go. So that is your tool. Now, if you're going to look at program, you can go and post it. And this is something you guys cannot do it on your laptop, or if you have a home learning edition download Mastercam on your laptop or on your desktop. This is something you cannot do it. Rest everything you guys can do it, but you cannot post it, because that's where we spend all the money to create a CNC program. So let's create the program, post. And I want to post that program so we can see our program. This is your code expert that's creating your NC file. The file we have seen was NCI. This is your NC file. So here you see your program, and we have tool number 1. We put rough face 80 degree. That's your tool number 1. And this is your maximum spindle speed. This is your cutting speed. And your spindle speed is, look at the G97 starts with 103, and then say maximum spindle is G50 3600, and your cutting speed is 200. And there comes your next tool, tool number 2, offset number 2. That's good. Constant spindle speed at 112. All this stuff you guys want to change, you can change here, guys, if you want to. Look at this. I say my constant spindle speed, I want to run at 1000 RPM. My G96 constant surface feet per minute, I want to go up to 500. So you guys can do all the editing over here if you want to. And then, so if you look at the program, this is your longhand program, guys. Look at this. How long is that program? This is not a cane cycle. This is a longhand program. Each step, it creates a program. That's what it is. And there comes your tool number 3, which is going to be a finish tool right there, just one pass. So that is a long program. Now, save changes. No, we don't want to save any changes. So the same program for OD rough and finish, guys. If you go ahead under toolpath, you go and expand your gallery, and there are your cane cycle for rough and finish. So cane cycle, if you see rough and finish, that's going to, you select that one. That's going to be your G71 is your rough, and G70 is going to be your finish. So in that case, if I'll just go ahead and select my rough, and I'll pick up my partial chain from here to there and select OK, hit OK. So I'll be using 80 degrees. Where is my 80 degree tool holder? That is your 55 degree. I lost my tool. Here. So I can cane rough, and this is your parameters for the rough cane cycle. That's your clearance on your axe. We can put 50,000 clearance on the axe, clearance on the Z. We can have 100,000 clearance on the Z. Depth of cut. This is your U, how much your tool is going to cut each time. Depth of cut. So start to leave is W. Start to leave on X is your U. So I want to leave 10,000 and 10,000 for rough and finish. So this here is your G71 cane cycle, guys. 100,000 on your U. Then that's going to be cut, depth of cut, which is right here, U 100,000. And then it's going to retract to your R. I will just put 50,000 on R. That's your retract for 50,000. And this is your P and Q. This is something I can explain to you in your 176 class, and Mr. Jason Rios is going to teach that class. That's what he will explain to you exactly how your P and Q works. It's a starting block sequence number, an ending block sequence number. I'll show you on the program. So once you select that, and lead out works exactly the same thing. So I'll just hit OK, and it will do the same step like we have seen my rough pass over here. If you remember, we did create earlier. That's my rough. So this is my cane rough. If you look at that here, so you're going to see the same thing we see earlier, but it's going to rough out same amount, whatever you're going to call out. But if I'm going to post program for this and these two tools only, hit OK. You want to operation all? No. Okay. Same operation. That's your long hand. Same tool, doing the same stuff. Look at the G71. Here we go. So this program from this block to this is doing the same thing. What this tool is doing over here, from here, from block number 13 or 14, whatever you want to call. So this program from here all the way down to here, it's the same program comparing to this program right here, from G71 172 block sequence number up to 183. It's the same program, but this is your cane cycle right here. This is controlling how much each time is going to cut, which is U 100,000. How much is going to retract? 50,000. P100 sequence number, Q110 sequence number, which is right here. P100 is N100, Q110 is the end sequence number 110. So these blocks are doing the same stuff what you see this program right here. That's called long. This is longhand. This is your cane cycles right here. G71 is your cane cycle. And all these numbers you see here, U, W, and 10 amount of stock you're going to leave on finish is going to be 20,000 for X and 10,000 for your Z, because U and W vectors for X and Z. So this is a cane cycle. So that's the difference. But when you're doing a Mastercam, your time consuming is same. It's going to take same times to finish. Either you use your rough toolpath or you use your cane rough toolpath. Now, when we do the finish, if you look at here, this is your finish toolpath we created earlier. So we can create a finish cane also. That is going to be under your toolpath. You go down here, open it, and say finish. So finish, we're going to use 50 degree, not 80 degree. Where is my 50 degree? Right here, 50 degree to insert. And cane finish, for finish toolpath, you do not select the geometry because it's a cane. They already know that whatever is selected in rough cane, it's going to be in the finish. So this is your rough cane, the one we earlier we created, lathe cane rough. So from that, it's going to figure out that how much is left over and it's going to finish it. Just like that, hit OK. And there is your finish toolpath right here, cane finish. And you run that, it's going to do exactly what we did earlier, same path. And come down, touch it, and done. That's finished. But look at the program. Look at the program. If I'm going to post this program, this finish, and it's going to be just one block of line G7T. G7T, P, and Q, and the feed rate, and that will finish it. Look at that here, right there. There is my, where is my G7T? It doesn't show me G7T. G18, it's just doing. It's not showing G7T here. G96, oh, it's picking up a subprogram. How come? Let me see. Okay, so let's pick lathe rough and lathe finish. And I want to run that, these two. Ooh. Looks like it's going to crash on me. It's not doing me rough. Okay, face rough. Finish. Another rough, okay. And another finish. Why you stop? There we go. Okay. So now if I'm going to post all of them, okay, that's my rough long hand. And that's my face. This is my tool number 2. It's going to be my roughing tool. Okay. All right. And there comes your next tool, number 3, your finish tool. Okay. And there comes my roughing cane cycle, G71 we talked earlier. Now, next we should see G70, my finish. Tool number 2 again. Here we go. G70. Look at this. Just one block is going to finish your part. This G70 is your finished cane cycle. P100 and Q110 is this guy right here, P100, Q10. What G70 does is going to read P100, Q110, which is going to read N100 to N110. That's what P100 and Q110. So this block will just go back and read from N100 to N110. It's going to read this geometry and it's going to finish that. That's what your G70 does, which is your finished toolpath. cane cycle. So this just one block will finish it, just one block, G70. And this is your roughing cane cycle. Look at this. That's 6 block or 8 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This 10 blocks will rough out your part. Comparing to this project, this program right here, roughing and finishing. Look at that. This is such a long program. So the difference for Mastercam doesn't make any difference. But when you are programming manually, that's what we do in our 176 class. That's where we program manually. We use G cane cycles. We use G71 rough and G70 finish. These cane cycles right there. So that's, I just want to show you the difference. What you want to do. You want to do rough and finish your longhand, or you can do that finish with your cane cycle. So the cane cycles are right here. We have the same cane cycle. We're going to talk later about grooving and pattern repetitive cycle. So grooving is same thing. You have a groove cycle over here, or you can use a groove cycle longhand over here. That does the same stuff, but you have more options in this groove than the cane cycle. Cane cycle, groove cycle is very, very limited options right here. Okay, guys, let's go ahead, and I'm gonna go ahead and record. Okay. So we've done the toolpaths, phased it, OD rough and finish. We did both cane cycles and the longhand. Now let's say I want to cut a little groove over here, and it could be I can do. Okay. So if I'm going to do some alter, then we're going to break this, and our toolpath is okay. Let's go to our frame, and we're going to go ahead and use lines, vertical line. I'm going to just go ahead and cut it. All right, here. And we can do a horizontal line, or we can even offset that line. I don't know how much this depth is. I'm just making it so we can offset this guy over here, 0.5, let's say go 0.250. And the depth doesn't matter. How much is that depth? I have no idea. So we can just go ahead and divide it. Get rid of this and this and this and this and this and this. And let's say I want to cut a groove. I want to cut this, right click, clear colors. I want to make a groove over here. So to cut a groove, we go to toolpath. And this, we'll talk this later on, which is called your cane groove. There's your regular groove right here. So I'm going to select that groove, and it has different options, 1.2.3 line change and multiple chains. We're going to talk that later on. So if you say 3 lines over here or 2 points, so you have to select the top point, upper left and right, and hit that. It says 2-point groove, select first point. You can select this as your first point, and you can select this as your second point of your groove, and hit enter. Now there are your grooving tools. So you can pick this also, this type, and again, this all depends what you have in the shop. You can pick this type also. These we usually do with as a clear on the face flat, that if you're close to the jaws and it won't hit on this side, so you can use this. But in this area, we can use this kind of tool. doesn't matter. So this is the width 375, this is 125, this is 250 width. So I can use, let's use 125 width here so we can see how it's going to cut. And speeds and feeds, again, it doesn't matter here. Group shape parameters. Here, if you want to put a radiuses on the group or chamfer or radius on the bottom, we have that option. So I'm going to skip this for right now. We'll talk that later on. So groove rough parameters. This is your stock clearance, how far it's going to clear from your stock. And this is going to be your stock you want to leave on X for your groove finish here. That's your finish. This is, you are roughing it out. Let's say I want to leave 5,000 for your on the X and on the Z about 5,000 also. And bidirectional or positive is going from positive out. It's going to start cutting from this side and go to this direction. Or if you go negative, it's going to start cutting from this direction and go into this direction. Or if you say bidirectional, it's going to start right in the middle over here. It's going to cut one side this and the other side this. So we can see all different options. So then comes your groove finish diameter, finish parameters. So finish parameters, you can go first pass in this direction, second pass finish on that other directions. And then lead in and lead outs are also very important in your finish. But when you do rough, it's going to come straight. But under rough, you can do multiple plunge. And here you can control that how much you want to plunge each time on your multiple passes. Then you also has an option which is going to be peck. So under peck, you can control that amount, how much you want to cut deep each time. That's your peck amount. So let's say you want to cut only maybe, it all depends on the depth of this. I don't know even the depth, how much is the depth. Let's say I want to cut even 50, 25,000 each pack. It's going to cut 25,000 each time. So hit OK on that. And if you don't want to use depth or you want to go depth cut, then you can control the depth cut, then how many passes you want to go and how much is going to control the depth on each pass. Number of passes that will control the depth. It's going to figure out the total depth and it's going to divide the equal depth into number of 2 passes. So you want to go number 3 passes, so it's going to cut less. Go to number of 4 passes, it's going to cut less. So it's going to control the total depth by itself. So I'm going to turn these all off right now. Then we're going to change that. So groove, go to finish. So finish lead in, same thing. Lead in and second pass lead out. It's going to be 2 lead in. It's going to come straight in and out. First pass and second pass. Let me show you that once we're going to turn that on. So I hit OK. And there comes my grooving tool path. Go and play that. Watch here. It's going to rough out first. I'm going to stop right there. Slow down a little bit so we can see it. There's my play option. All right, so we pick the directional. Bidirectional is going to start right in the middle, go one side. It's going to go to the other side. Now it's going to go to the other side. And it's going to finish left 12,000 on each side. Finish first lead in, finish second lead in. And done. There we go. So now if you change that directions, I want to go positive. It's going to start going from this side to positive. We are talking about roughing. There you go. Cutting from that, going into positive direction, rough, rough, and again another rough. Then it's going to finish with first lead in and the second lead in. It's going to finish it. You want to go negative, it's going to start feeding from negative direction, going into minus. Here we go. First rough, second rough, third rough, and then it's going to go first lead in, finish, second lead in, finish, and done. So going back to parameters, here under finish pass, that is your lead in. Look at the first lead in going in this direction, second lead in going in this direction. You want to come straight, you can go just straight like this. Second and first is going to first lead in straight into the part. Look at that. Here we go. Oh, that is so fast. Okay, negative feed in. It's leaving 5,000 material over here for the finish on the C, X and Z. And it's leaving over here too for finish. One more rough. And there comes my finish pass. Now it's not going to come with lead in. It's going to feed in straight. And but look at this cutting right on the edge. And then the second one here is going to feed in straight. So that's how you control your lead in. Look at that, it's coming straight. Hit OK. So that is your groove finish diameter is your lead in. So you can go first lead in, you can go like this, and second lead in, you can go like this. It all depends. Or you can just go straight like we did it. You can go straight in. All right, so that is that. And group rough parameters, group here. Okay, let's say here, if you want radius on this corner right here, let's say I want to go 25,000 radius, both sides. On the top, I want to go radius over here and radius. The same tool is going to do the radius. So let's see, okay, right here. And look at that, in the finished pass, it's going to make a radius on those corners right here. It can does the radius too. So if you go ahead and run it, you want to cut chamfer, you can cut a chamfer. There we go. And there comes with my finish pass, and I want to cut on the other side with the radius. Cut this side also with the 25,000 radius. Go to parameters. You don't want radius, you want chamfer, you can cut a chamfer over here. And there is your chamfer. You want what kind of chamfer, width and height. You can give all these dimensions right here, just the width or angle. And the height, if you want to do with the height or width, just say I want to go 100,000, 50,000, 25,000 chamfer. That's fine. You can have chamfer on both sides if you want to. There we go. You got a 25,000 chamfers on this corners right there. This is pretty common practice, guys, in the shops. When we do part like this, we get like 15,000, 10,000 chamfer. So that chamfer doesn't have any role in the properties for this part. It breaks those sharp edges because when we cut a groove, it gives sharp edges over here. So 10,000, 15,000 chamfer, all it does break the sharp edges. So it's pretty common practice. So now if you go ahead and we're going to start, select all, and we can verify this part, right click, go to isometric, and hit OK. It's going to face it. OD rough and finish is going to go 2 OD rough and 2 OD finish. There go another one. There's another one. Finish. There is that, and there comes my groove. I'm going to slow it down. Here is my groove. And you can see that little chamfer right here was breaking the sharp edges right there. Look at that. That's sharp edges, the chamfer. And the last thing is here under rough parameters, I'll go peg. I want to control my depth. I want to go 25,000. Let's say I'm cutting really hot metal. I'm cutting really hot metal and I want to control my depth of each part. So I can do that. I can go and play that. Look at that. That's too fast again. So if you look at that too, it's going to go 25,000 each time rather than, look at it, it's going to go, see that's your pack right here. If you see that blue lines, discontinue that, look at that, that's 25,000, it's going to go each time. That's how you control the pack. Color chamfers or radius, chamfer on both sides. Go back to parameters. And the same thing you guys can do, the radius is on the bottom also. If I want to put a little radiuses on the bottom, we can do that also. That's a 25,000 radius on the bottom. Okay. And there is your radiuses on the bottoms too. And it does only on the finished pass right here. And there you go. Chamfer radius, chamfer and radius on the bottom right there. Look at that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and